Yo, what's going on, everybody? Nicholas Verstappen, Chelsea Ball Channel, and today is match preview for Chelsea versus Man City on Saturday. It's going to be a tough one. There's no words except it's going to be tough. They did just blow a ridiculous 2-0 lead to lose 4-2 yesterday. I am recording this on Thursday because I need to get this out early. Sadly, I can't get this out after the press conference tomorrow. Should be interesting to see what he has to say, but I am busy tomorrow, back at school, so I need to make sure I'm able to rotate my time when I can. Probably going to be tough for me to get videos that aren't only match previews, which is upsetting to me, but it's about all I can do at this point. So, otherwise than that, before we get into lineups and everything, there is news. The deal for Jeremy Hernandez, what they call Peque, I think a 15 million euro deal or something around that number, was rejected. And they say that the player will be at least staying till the summertime. They rejected offers from Italy. They rejected the Blue Co offer. It seems like the player is going to stay with Deportivo La Coruña until then. I had I had no thoughts on him. I had absolutely no thoughts on him. I didn't really know what to say about him. There really wasn't much that I didn't have enough information. I used him on FM before, Football Manager. You guys played that game. I've used it before on that, but that's about all the information I can give you on him. So otherwise, he would be like our fifth string winger. So it's one of those things where I don't really know anything to talk about him because it's just one of those ones where it's like a buy or sell deal. Because we had that with Angelo, we had that with other wingers, and he probably might have gotten loaned to Strasbourg, so he might not even played for us. So it's one of those things I think about, but maybe we'll go back in for in the summer. We're not sure. There is a deal that Chelsea are trying to get Reda Bellerin from Hellas Verona, another midfielder. He would offer us depth right now. It's kind of like a Cassidy replacement, but I seriously do not understand this deal. If we sell Cassidy for around the same price we're bringing in this guy from Hellas Verona, this guy's 20 years old. He's a year younger than Cassidy. But I seriously don't get this deal either. It seems to me like he's got some skills in the midfield. He's more of a ball winner. It seems like I'm more a tackling-minded midfielder, but I also noticed he's 5'9". He's like around the same height as guys like Caicedo is. And I think we just need a guy like Leslie Igochukwu back. Leslie Igochukwu is like 6'3", 6'4". We really do need that ball-dominant guy in the midfield, and he's been brilliant as of late, Leslie Igochukwu. But I think that the Chelsea ownership see that he's playing really, really well in these recent few games for them, and he's been an important piece for that Southampton team so far. He's really going to get some good PT for them, so I think it might be honestly for the best that he stays. But I really do like that guy Igochukwu, and it doesn't look like Andre Santos, of course, is going to be brought back, so maybe they're just trying to find another body, and I think that we do need another body in the midfield, but I think with one of the guys we've already bought, I think would be better, but that's just my personal opinion. And then it seems like a Garnacho deal is also on the mix, or on the mist. I really don't know what to think about that. There could be a deal within the hours, and this deal is going to make fans go crazy. The only thing that Garnacho could do is prove us all wrong if he were to sign with us. Do I think that would happen? I don't know what kind of deal that Man United are going to accept for him, but if Chelsea throw a £50 million bid, are they going to accept it? It's like a £49.5 million bonus. It's almost like a Mason Mount deal that they're recouping. So it's one of those things where I'm not sure. I really don't want that deal to happen, but if it does happen, then I have to give him my best of luck. Where does he play? Does he play on the left-hand side? Does he play on the right-hand side? I don't know. Does he play through the middle? Where does he play on our lineup? It'll be hard for us to tell. Again, he's going to be battling it out with all these wingers. So I really don't get this deal. Chelsea see him as a top target, but I wonder what Enzo Maresca thinks of the deal, in my personal opinion. How does he fit the tactic? Is Garnacho going to be a guy who's going to be able to help defensively as a winger? I really don't know that. I don't see it too often. He looks like he's too much of an egotistical guy. So I really don't need another Noni Madueke. This guy's already too much at times. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with this deal. But let's get into the lineups. Here's the lineup I chose. I have Jorgensen, Cucurella, Colwill, Chalobah, Reece James, Caicedo, Dewsbury Hall, Sancho, Palmer, Madueke, and Nicolas Jackson up top. So I have Jorgensen in net for the reason being that in his time here, Robert Sanchez, he's committed 4 goalkeeping errors that have led to goals in his entire season. Kepa, for example, has allowed 4 his entire Chelsea career. The errors are becoming too much, and I need to see someone different in net. I have Jorgensen in net for the reason being that it just can't get much worse, can it? I mean, you easily, I think what'll happen is Sanchez will play again. It's too much of a big game to throw another guy into the fire, and I think this is just one of those games that this is the fire. And if he didn't prove himself very well at all in that game against Morecambe, but he hasn't gotten a game since Morecambe. So it definitely could be a game that we see him come in. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see him come in, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. I have him in because I just hate the mistakes that Sanders is making. He needs to punch that ball. I'm still on it. It's still in my mind. I'm still there. But get away from it now. It's all over now. Cucurella, I think Cucurella was brilliant in the second half of the last game. First half, mediocre, but second half, he was brilliant. He's our best left back, especially with no Vega anymore. He's on loan at Juve now. He's our only left back on the team, basically, so he gets guaranteed playing time. Colwill has not got an update from injury report. Maresca's horrible at injury reports to say who is and who isn't injured. He usually only waits he only talks about certain players, or he waits till press conferences. So we'll see even if Colwill's fit. But I have him back in the lineup. I would be perfectly fine with Tosin playing. I would be perfectly fine with it. Chalobah is 100% in my lineup. He's probably going to be in my starting lineup every single time if possible. The only time I think he won't be is for Conference League games or maybe FA Cup games when guys like Champong might get in the mix, but that's my thought process here. Reece James I have back here right back. I mean, it's been a few days. There's a chance that Gusto starts this game and Reece comes off the bench, or Reece starts and then gets subbed at halftime. Reece played very well. You don't want to re-aggravate another injury. He's played a pretty decent amount of minutes in these last few games, so the last thing you want to do is get this guy back uninjured. I have him playing because he's so brilliant when he's on the field, but it'll be really tough to see what happens. This is a City game, and if he's not in versus City, then it's going to be a tough stretch for us. I think that he plays, but his minutes are obviously going to be limited once again. Dewsbury Hall I have in for the reason being that it seems like Enzo Fernandez's injury is going to last more than 1 week. It seems like it'll be lasting 2 weeks, so we might see him sometime next week. And I think our next game is not even until the following Monday, so we have a decent break until that point. However, I will say that I think that Dewsbury Hall did okay in the game. He wasn't outstanding, but he was pretty good. He wasn't bad, but he was pretty good. So I give him the credit. I give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to see him play again, and there's not many other players that we have in our bench that could take his spot. I mean, of course, Casade's not here anymore. Vega's not here anymore. Then you have who? Who do you have outside of that? You've got Raksaki. And then who else? There's no Lavia, there's no Enzo. And the club won't make a signing. They're trying to make a signing, but he's not going to be in for the next game. He's obviously not even trained. He's not even signed yet. So it's Dewsbury Hall again next to Caicedo. Caicedo, I'm hoping, can just stay healthy. This guy's been burned out. I'm really hoping this is not like the injuries that he's been suffering and the times he's gone down. Hopefully these aren't too severe. So he plays, everyone's in. Sancho was a difference maker in the game versus Wolves. He looked brilliant when he was on the field. After he got subbed for Neto, he did add a bit more composure, and he looked so much better with Cucurella on that left-hand side. That so much more of the play went down that side in the second half once that sub was made. So I think he'll definitely start once again. Palmer I have through the middle. It depends on his injury. Obviously, nothing has been said about it. Palmer, of course, is still basically probably has the same ankle injury. He really should get taken out of games earlier. Shouldn't be playing 83 minutes with an ankle problem going into the game, but that's just my personal opinion. Enzo Maresca may see it different. But he was injured at halftime going into that game, or at Wolves. So maybe he knows better than us, but I wouldn't be playing a guy who's injured that much. It's just my personal opinion. Madueke, I think, has been very... People have been destroying him. He's been a scapegoat at times this season. Yes, he's not good defensively. Yes, his decision-making isn't right at all times. But he's amongst the top of getting into or successful take-ons in the box or whatever the stat is. And this guy does the right things. He gets around people well. You saw the play at Dean Howson this weekend or on Monday. I mean, he does the right things for your team. It's just the decision-making has to get better. He probably could have had a goal and an assist again in the Wolves game if Nico Jackson was just a better finisher. That's my personal opinion. So Madueke stays there again. I think that Neto hasn't been good enough to guarantee himself another start in this one. Of course, there's no Mudryk. I don't think Tyree George is yet ready especially for a big game like this. I think we see Madueke and Jadon Sancho. I think it's almost guaranteed. And then Jackson up top. I don't think we see someone like Guiu in this big of a game. There could be a chance we see Nkunku. Maybe we'll see a bigger finisher. Maybe we'll see a different tactic. But a tactic like this, I think that Jackson needs to be there to press down these guys who are trying to play out of the back. It's going to be a City team that's trying to play to the back, trying to play through us. I think that with press is going to be so major, so I think Jackson's such an important player. And I think we see him up again once again up top. There's not any other options, really. Unless you were to play in Nkunku or Gio, there's no other options up top. Jackson is so out of form right now when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net. Almost nothing is going his way, but there's no other options. You really have no other alternative. This is about the only alternative you got. So hopefully he can give you a goal in this one. And that's really all you could be hoping for right now. So let me know what you guys think. See you in the next one. Subscribe and like the channel, like this video. And also, look at Nicholas Persakis CFC on Instagram and TikTok. I post YouTube videos. Jesus, I post videos on transfer news and predicted lineups on there as well. If you want to see more about that on there, you can check that out. So see you guys in the next one. Peace.